Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Travel Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined today by David Landinez, Senior Sales Consultant for Latin America for Cox and Kings. David is here today to share insights about both Cox and Kings and their relationship with South America as a travel destination, and also the best places to visit in South America as well. Of course, we know Cox and Kings are one of the world's most established travel brands, so it's going to be very interesting to see and hear from David today. David, once again, thank you very much for giving up your time to join us today. If you wouldn't mind giving us a brief introduction to your background and also role in both the travel industry and at Cox and Kings.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Hi, Adam. Again, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and definitely talk all things South America. It's a continent, well, Latin America as well. It's a continent that I truly love and enjoy, so it's always a pleasure to talk about it. As you said before, my name is David Landinez. I've been with Cox and Kings for a few years now. Um, my role is sales, basically, to all South and Latin America. I am originally from Colombia, so I have like very first-hand knowledge from a lot of the countries. I have visited almost every country in South America except by like one or two. But all the rest I've been to all of them, and yeah, like ready to share some knowledge about South America.
Excellent. I think you're the perfect person to have on today to go more into this fascinating destination. Just to begin with, what would you say makes Cox and Kings South America tours so unique from the competition?
I think we are very unique there because we've been working for over 25 years, over 20 years more or less since like the year 2000, 2002 in South America. So we're quite pioneers there because at the time there was not really many travel companies organizing tours there. So we have really long established partnerships with our local teams there. A really good team of experienced guides in most of the countries, and also I would say like the the continent offers such unique destinations, that just makes it really stand out. Like the warmth of everyone in South America is really well, and also like we have. In all of our tours, in most of the cases we have handpicked all of the hotels where our travelers stay. So it's really that first-hand knowledge of the place that we visit.
Excellent. And obviously moving on now, what would you say are some of the most must-see destinations and countries in South America if you had to kind of narrow it down?
Yeah, that's always hard because there's just so many places, right? But I would definitely say like Machu Picchu is really famous for a reason, right? Like it's a place that it's is definitely worth visiting once in a lifetime, if not more, if someone's got the time. Definitely, I would say my favorite city in South America is Rio de Janeiro. Like I've been there a good 4 times now, and I can't wait again to come back because it just mixes nature with modernity, food, but the beach is just the whole package. Also, like not far from there, Iguazu Falls. They're just incredibly stunning. And then the Galapagos Islands, I would say in Ecuador, I was there a few months ago, and there's no place like it on earth. Like the wildlife is just right there waiting for you. Um, that'll be just a handful of them, but there are just so many others as well in Colombia, Chile, Argentina.
Of course. Yeah, and obviously you touched on some fantastic destinations there. Obviously, Iguazu Falls, Rio de Janeiro as well. Um, when would be the best times to visit those sort of regions? Because of course they're very popular with a lot of guests. What sort of months and when would be best to visit those? Would you say?
So when we talk in general about like Peru and the Andes, like Machu Picchu and all that area, definitely the best is when is there the outside the rainy season, so like the dry season. So that would be more or less in between late March, April, up to like early November, more or less. So that'll be the best times there. If we talk about maybe like the Galapagos Island, that is like a whole year round destination. But the best would be to avoid July, August, and September, because those months the water gets slightly colder because of some currents. But in general, it's a whole year round destination, and quite similar with Rio de Janeiro as well. And then we have not talked about Patagonia, but like in Patagonia is quite seasonal. So Patagonia would be definitely be more in between October to March, when it's like the summertime there. So that's when it would be best.
Excellent. And I just want to spotlight two tours in particular, which kind of encompass the whole continent. Obviously, you've got your Grand Tour of South America, and you've also got the Splendors of South America tours that Cox and Kings offer. Can you tell me a little bit more about those tours and who they would appeal to? Would they be perfect for first timers, for example? And what sort of experiences are involved in those two tours?
Yeah, so I would say both tours are are a great introduction to the continent. As you may well know, like South America, it's a really big continent, right? Like when we put it next to Europe, Europe looks tiny. So both tours go for like more or less about 2 weeks, right? And they encompass several countries. They both have something in common, that they both finished doing Buenos Aires, Iguazu, and Rio. As we've spoken before, Iguazu and Rio are definitely big highlights. And then Grand Tour of South America at the beginning, we focused in like Peru with Machu Picchu, all the Sacred Valley area, and then it goes into Bolivia, and then from there into Argentina. Splendors of South America does starts in Chile, right? So Splendors of South America does not visit Machu Picchu, but it visits Chile and Patagonia, Argentina and Patagonia, and then into Buenos Aires and the rest. So it's great for first timers. It's great for a lot of people that want to visit a few countries all at once and get a big taste of South America. And in general, just people that is looking for like very different experiences all at once, because you in a span of like 2 weeks or slightly more, you visit so many different ecosystems, landscapes. So you just come back with so many different memories that probably would only leave you wanting more of the continent.
Course, and Cox and Kings obviously offer many different types of touring styles as well. Can you talk to me a little bit about if someone wanted to go to South America and maybe um, wanted to see very specific locations, the types of tailor-made tours on offer, but also the more kind of themed experiences that you offer on your tours as well? Can you just go into a little bit more detail about the types of touring styles that you've got?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we do small group luxury tours, right? That's like
Mhm.
one part of what we do, like the tours we were discussing, Grand Tour South America, Splendor South America, and they'll go with a maximum of like 20 people, and in those cases, it's like 4 or 5 star hotels in all the destinations. So small group tours. And the other part would be tailor-made journeys, which in a tailor-made or a private journey, we can customize every single part of the itinerary, right? Like go as long as a traveler may want to go, or as short as they would need to. And we can also focus those experiences according to their preferences. So for example, if someone is very keen on wildlife, right? Like you do not have to spend too much time on the cultural side of things, but you can focus on wildlife and visit one of the, I would say, one of the hidden gems in Latin America, even though it's really big, would be the Amazon. So you can visit, for example, the Amazon of Brazil, and then go to the Pantanal, which is great to spot like jaguars, and then maybe head towards like Patagonia if time allows, and try and like see some more wildlife there. Um, or on the other hand as well, if someone is more interested in like the culture or like the food side of things, if we have like some foodies out there, um, you could focus those experiences to do like Peruvian cooking classes, for example, to learn about like all the street food in Peru, but also visit all the different ruins that may be found in different places in South America. So that tailor-made side of things could be really bespoke according to the traveler's preference.
Of course. And obviously, you've obviously had a number of different travellers and guests attend your tours. Obviously this might be a bit of a difficult question, but do you have any particular highlights that guests have said to you from going on your tours? Any particular memories that they've shared with you following the tours to South America?
I would say that definitely one of the biggest like happiest feedback, let's say, is usually after people visit the Galapagos, because even though like you could have seen like on many TV shows or like travel programs or wildlife shows, once you're in the Galapagos, like everybody experience the wildlife so firsthand, like it's right there. Um, that is just it's just really hard to explain. So I feel like everybody that goes to the Galapagos, no matter if it was like hotter or less hot or a little bit of rain or no matter which cruise they did or which hotel they stayed, everybody comes back extremely happy, having experienced wildlife in such first hand. Like, you could be on a cruise and then you see a shark, like just from your cruise, or like golden rays while you're like getting ready to do some scuba diving. Um, so yeah, I would say the Galapagos just blows everyone's mind.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting to hear that sort of feedback into the destination. Obviously, Galapagos is an incredible good destination to visit, one that's definitely on my list, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of tailoring to different types of travelers, you've of course got families that go along on your tours. You've got solo travelers. You've got a mixture of different types of people that want to go on your tours. How does Cox and Kings tailor their tours to fit with each type of traveler?
So I would say the best, when we start planning the journey, what we always try to do is to, try to try and have a chat with our travelers and see what interests them, right? And basically get to know the travelers a little bit more, so that way, like we become closer to them instead of just like someone listening. I want to go to ABC, but also when we have those chats, we try and get to know, like their traveling style, what sort of experiences they prefer. That way as well, when we're like crafting the journey for them, we can think of experiences that they will enjoy and enjoy quite a lot. So I mean, just as an example, right? Like if someone is into like food, right, or maybe like just like trying different things, there's several it's really famous in South America, especially in like countries like Colombia or Ecuador, Peru. The diversity of fruits, it's immense, right? So I think I've done a few times like a fruit tasting for a few people, which it's something really unique that you could be in front of a table or in a market with just like easily 20 different fruits, and you may try them all, but then this sort of activity may not be of interest for someone else. So the best is just to, listen, what the travelers may want to experience, and that would just craft the best experiences.
Course. And for, say, for example, you have a first timer who wants to explore South America with you. What sort of practical advice would you give them in terms of what to expect, how to prepare for the countries that they're visiting?
I would say definitely one of the best things would be to try and be flexible, right? Like obviously we'll try to have everything ready around the clock, private guides, tours, a really experienced team. But in general, how things work in South America, they might not work as round the clock as they may be in Europe. Right. So if you just approach it with like slight flexibility, that things just may slightly change, not on our side, but just in general while being there, um, that just really gets you to enjoy the holiday much more. And also, like, if I would say, especially when traveling to South America, if travelers are quite open to like listen to the guys' suggestions and like try to engage more with like the local culture, um, people is really really warm and happy in general in South America. So if you just go with a smile on your face, you will definitely have a much more enjoyable experience there.
Excellent. In terms of emerging countries, um, and looking ahead, kind of the present day and looking ahead 2025 and beyond, are you seeing any kind of trends in certain destinations which maybe are getting more popular with more visitors, or is it kind of the general countries that you would expect that people are interested in going to?
I would say Peru has always been really popular, and in the future is still going to be very popular because as we discussed, Machu Picchu is definitely worth checking out. And same with like Argentina and Chile, right? Like I would say those would be the main three countries that are quite popular visiting as well, because they offer a good level of safety in general, right, to visit. But I would say definitely in the coming years, we'll definitely see more people traveling to countries like Colombia, because with time it's just becoming safer, and they have a great range of ecosystems, let's say, and different regions to visit. So definitely countries like Colombia and Brazil are going to be much more visited in the near future.
Of course, in terms of sustainable practices, how does Cox and Kings instill responsible tourism in their tours? Of course, it's a very big factor as to why people travel today, being eco-conscious. How do Cox and Kings kind of ensure that their tours are eco-conscious and responsible in their practices?
Yeah, yeah, that's a very important part of traveling nowadays that I feel everybody should be quite conscious when making their decisions of where to go and which places to visit, right? Because at the end of the day, it impacts us all. So yeah, one of the main things here for us is that we have, as I've mentioned at the beginning, like really long established partnerships with different local teams, and they definitely ensure that most of, and if not all of the activities that we do, they are as sustainable as possible. So as an example, for example, in most of our well, most no, like all our trips in Peru, instead of like providing plastic bottles, every time someone is going from A to B or in a place, the local team ensures that like every place that is visited has a refilling station of water that is clean, that is potable, that it's totally fine to drink. So here we encourage our travelers, if not by giving them like a reusable bottle at the beginning that they can keep during the whole trip and as a souvenir as well, just to encourage them to use their own. And the team has ensured that there's like good drinking water throughout the whole places that are visited. So just small actions like that will have a big impact in 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 any travel experience at the end.
Sure, I think that's amazing insight there. Just to looking to wrap up, what would your final advice be to someone considering South America as a travel destination, do you think?
I would definitely say it would be great to try and not to pack too much at once, right? Because as we've said earlier, it's such a big continent that sometimes if you try to do 5 countries in a week, in Europe that may be possible, but in South America, not really. So definitely the best would be to not pack too much at once, right? Like, or have as much time as possible to try and visit many more destinations, because every country is quite big. So I would say if a traveler could already dedicate at least 2 3 weeks for a first trip to either visit 2 3 countries, or 4 maximum, I would say that would be great. That way you're not just going quickly from place to place and actually enjoying each destination and remembering what's happening in each one of them. And then just the other thing would be to sort of, have clear, if you would be keen to see more wildlife or more cultural sides of the continent, or try and mix them up both. And we will definitely do our best to give you a really good travel experience and great memories.
Sure, that's excellent. Thank you very much, David, for your time. I really appreciate it, and that's a really interesting insight into the continent as a whole. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Thank you, Adam. Hope you have a great day. And you should go to Galapagos when you have the chance.
Of course, yeah, I will do. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.